Hello.
Good morning, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Yes, we were so eager. We started a little bit early, but it's never too early to start a great show, isn't it?
We're ready. We are ready to go.
So, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It's a great opportunity to continue with the second episode of Healing Invisible Wounds. Why I chose to do this series before end of the year for remainder of every Wednesday for the rest of the month of November and December is because as a consultant, as a counsel, as advisor, as a strategist that works with so many people and organizations in the background, seeing a lot of pain, challenges, and difficulty, we wanted to address elephants in the room. Today, we're addressing something very powerful with author, with a LinkedIn influencer, Rachel here, that is joining us. And her perspective, what is happening on LinkedIn, specifically most trusted social media platform, where future, current colleagues, employers, partners, and business relationships going to be formed, and where it's important also to really look at what is going on within the organizations and outside of organizations with talent and teams. We're seeing very unprecedented behavior, and from behavioral lens, we want to make sure that we are again pointing at those elephants and making sure that everybody understand how world works right now, specifically in the virtual environment, and how you can adjust for your maximum success. So Rachel, fantastic to have you here with me today. Join me from Florida, a beautiful sunshine state. So Rachel, do you mind just sharing a little bit about you in terms of how you became so dramatically, for some people, very visible and very open, very raw and very real? What prompted you to go full in and full out, and what that created for you?
Good afternoon. How are you? It's to help other people, right? There is a massive learning curve on LinkedIn. I mean, there really is. And my job is to educate people. I have two mentors on this platform. They know who they are, who believed in me when nobody else did. And they, took me under their wing and taught me. And I'm always deeply loyal to them. And so I want people to learn, because honestly, Izabela, I see people make mistakes every day. Somebody just did it with me, I'll be honest with you, a couple hours ago. They just made a huge mistake. So it's our job to teach other people how to succeed, and for people to truly understand and get that this is a community, that this is a family. And everything that they're doing, their digital footprint, what they are creating right now, is everything. I've had HR people on my show. They've talked about it. Then when a resume comes across their table, they will look up people's social media feed. So people have to ask themselves, are they happy with the messages that they're putting out there, with the words that they're writing? I tell people all the time, don't be the reason that you're not successful on this platform. And I see people do it every day.
And that is excellent point, because we're looking things multidimensional, right? We're having people that are had so many issues from previous experiences, either with employers or with health or with the domestic aspects. So whatever might be an environment they're in. And now we had a COVID, very dramatic shift and change in life. And so many things kind of came all full force together and created so much anxiety, stress. No matter who you are, however well you can manage that, that's the reality of the current modern time of living, right? And that led to a lot of people to spiral in depression, some people that are prone to it. And those are those invisible wounds that we don't necessarily see. If somebody looks smiling, positive, healthy, we think their life is all in order. And on top of it, now we're having crisis with employers, with partners, with teams, and changes everything, doesn't it? And then we're having this tremendous crisis of finding either a new job or finding an environment where we can thrive. And we're seeing something that is extremely shocking. So let's address the first elephant here, which is bullying. I address bullying for decades in educational system with youth. in elementary school all the way to graduate programs. But I am shocked that I have to address this element with you, Rachel, that we're seeing so much acting out and very strong bullying culture. So do you mind sharing a little bit what you've seen, what you're experiencing, and what should happen?
Okay, so I have zero tolerance for bullying. Zero tolerance, because I had shared with you personally that I had been bullied in high school. So that always stayed with me, right? So I have zero tolerance for it. I think it's important for people to realize they will not succeed on this platform if they are choosing that path. Bullying, it's not, you'll never succeed. We all see it. That's what people aren't conscious of. Like, we see people's words. It doesn't matter if we're posting, if we're going through the day, we're, doing our feed, encouraging people, giving back. It's never tolerated. And here's the thing. People are really close friends on this platform, right? It's like this. So if one of my girlfriends or my guy friends reaches out to me and said, Rach, I got bullied by this person, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be immediate goodbye, block to whoever that person was. It's not okay to do it. It's extremely unacceptable behavior. So if people are wondering why they're failing and they took bullying as a way that they thought was going to be the path of success, it's not going to happen.
That is excellent point, Rachel. And that is one of the ways we have a choice, right? To eliminate that. But in order to change behavior and looking from behavioral standpoint, a lot of times people that are bullying others, they're in pain, they don't know any other way, and they're very explosive. We see a lot of that as well. And they are suffering, they're hurting. And then it's also opportunity also to address the behavior, right? To let them know. But in the same time, it's an opportunity to really understand maybe they're reaching out. And I want to look at from the other spectrum because we're seeing a lot of power differentiation right now between different groups, right? And different camps. But also being on receiving end, it's re-traumatizing a lot of people. I'm hearing a lot of people that are dealt with something in the past that they thought they healed fully, they get triggered. So both ways we see people getting triggered. And one more than ever, we wanted to make sure that people are getting proper help. We're not counselors here. We're not mental health advisors. We're here because we love people, because we work with people on daily basis, and because we did a tremendous work to make a huge difference through our outlets. And we would just want to make sure that organizations are ready to dive into something like that, right? And really focusing and paying attention. And B, talent is focusing and seeing what is happening and able to have a safety to share what is going on. Because a lot of organizations don't even have that opportunity where it's two-way feedback and opportunity to address these issues. So what are your thoughts on that, Rachel?
Well, I'm really happy that you're talking about triggers, because that's a huge, huge problem, right? It's a big problem. Like you said, we're not in the mental health field. We're just sharing our experiences. I've been pleading for people not to add more stress to people's lives. I've been pleading for people to be patient on this platform. That is a huge problem, right? And we are all doing our own schedule as we show up. When we show up, pushing anybody, it's for me, it's the biggest turnoff. I'll be honest with you. It is such a turnoff for me. So triggering people. If somebody even remotely raises my level of anxiety, I'm out. I've told people that. It's not necessary. What people need right now on this platform is empathy. What they need is compassion, because there are so many people who are struggling that have shared with me, personally. They need compassion, empathy. There are people, I'll be honest with you, Izabela, some people are holding on by a thread right now. Okay.
Yes.
That is what's going on. I know what's going on with people. I have real friendships on this platform. So it's crucial that you're like wrapping your arms around people right now. That's what they need. That's exactly what they need. And I look for those people, Izabela. I look for those people when someone writes a deep, powerful post and they say, I'm really hurting today. My heart's broken. I'll reach out to that person immediately. Here's some huge mistakes people are making that I've seen, and shame on them. I saw a couple people write this year, today's the last day of my life. Right? This was not written on my post. I interact with every comment that's on my post. This was on other people's post. And the people of the post didn't even respond. It's not okay. If someone's telling you today's the last, I took the time and I wrote these people back. I've seen it 3 times. So that is important. Are you ignoring your post? There are people reaching out. Well, I get comments like that in direct messages. And that's why I ask people, stop sending me I use this for the people who are reaching out for help, who are, we use it for business. So and I prioritize, right? So I get like a lot of messages every day. I look for the souls who need our help right now.
And it's a very good point. The people are reaching in many different ways, and but they have to reach externally outside of their family unit or business. That's telling you a lot. They don't get support that they need. I mean, I'm doing regularly clubhouse rooms. I'm hearing a lot of people that are working for different employers expressing different concerns. And right now, more than ever, with all the changes, end of the year, execution, goals, pushing for specific outcomes, pressure, also longevity at their work. We're going to be able to, continue doing what we're doing. What is happening? Is so many things are still uncertain, and when things are up in the air, a lot of things also get more and more stressful, right? And we get more and more pressure, and without knowing how our team is doing, how everybody individual is doing, and if you don't have environment that people feel safe to share, and they cannot show up to be as who they are, 99% you miss opportunity to truly understand and truly know. And then now with everything else, with the triggers and specifically public, right? Anybody under sun can read what is being said publicly. And it's very important. And I love what you said. You commenting, you're reaching out, you're finding time consciously to support others. That is a huge, huge differentiator, guys. If you truly care, you should be accessible. If you truly want to make a difference, you should put an extra effort to see who you can help. And one of the main reasons why I'm doing this series, typically I used to volunteer in Colorado in a lot of different places. I don't feel comfortable from various reasons to do that right now physically. But this is my way to give back, specifically around the holiday seasons, when I know statistically for decades, specifically right now, this is the hardest time for millions and millions of people, specifically in this country, and let alone the rest of the world. And now chance is, how do you give it back? Do you care? And for what do you care? For what are you passionate about, right? And I just want to share, see how it's easy to follow Rachel's example. And she's been doing this every single day throughout the whole year, not just around the holidays. But if we want to elevate the game, we have a huge chance to do something very special. Rachel, tell us, what are you doing this week very special to honor a specific group of people where we have tremendous increase in suicide alone, which we want to address the another elephant in the room?
Yeah, it's a big deal that we need to address. It's huge. You brought something up. Can I just address it real quick so I don't forget?
Please.
You talked about accessibility. I want to discuss that. Okay, so it's really important if you're on social media to have accessibility within boundaries. Because sometimes people make big mistakes. Either they pick up the phone and hit FaceTime, it's just not the way it works. I've had people do that to me. Or, give me a phone number, and I'm like, I have to do things to protect myself. And I try to tell people on this platform, you better protect yourself. So I took my email down, I took my phone number down, and that is a safety thing. That is a mental health thing. So I've been telling my network that you can be accessible, but you also need to be very smart and you need to protect yourself at the same time. When it really comes down on this platform is you teach people how to treat yourself. I tell my network that you teach people what is acceptable behavior. If you think that it's okay to scare people on this platform, it's absolutely not. It's just not. I've had people Google my home, say, I know where you live. And the next day, I wrote a post about that and said, stop Googling content creators' homes. He literally took a screenshot of it. So let's talk about safety. So,
Wow.
yes. So, safety is everything on this platform. So, if you push the limits, it's not going to work. And I've actually had 2 cops on the show talking about how to maintain safety during this, on social media. There's certain things that you can do. Also, let me ask you this. Are you making other people feel safe? That's really, really important. People they're not going to share. They're not going to open up unless you create that space for them. It's important to do that. So, what are you doing to make people feel safe? Like my network knows they're safe. I have them in a protected bubble. The people come on my show, they know they're safe, that it's a safe space for them to share. It is beyond necessary to make people feel safe on social media.
That is an excellent point. And I love how you're stressing out the boundaries. And accessibility comes in many different shapes and forms. You're totally right. You have to figure out what's the best for you. And at the same time, when people do reach out and if you're visible, that accessibility should be at least available to respond back. And I love how much you put in effort to do that and how important it is, because what is the point being influencing others and telling them what to do if you're not willing to do yourself, right? So it's very important to be congruent and walk the talk, be that really powerful, sustainable leader, and from there lead to make things happen and make it successful. What we're also seeing interesting trends wise, if we don't know what people are going through, but they're in our network or they're our colleagues, they're our peers, then we fail in some ways, right? Because we were not able to build a particular relationship. And specifically, we really want to echo this with internal teams and talent, how important it is to nurture that. And right now, this particular week, you're honoring veterans, and veterans are going through a lot of changes and a lot of dynamics. They were openly sharing the pain points and some of the issues that are having. So you are doing honoring of that. So do you mind sharing what prompts you to do that and how beautiful that is? Because again, not only they deserve that, but it's crucial to show there are visible. There are people that wanted to support them, and that's their opportunities that they can reach beyond what they think it's available to them.
The reason why I do that, Isabel, is because I have veterans in my family. My brother served in the Navy, my father was in the Army, and I have other family members who have served, and a ton of friends who have served. And I also have another part of that story, which I'll share with you one day. But I am deeply behind the military. I'm deeply behind the veterans. They need our support and our love, and it's important to do that and to not forget that. Guess what? You're safe because of them. And like I was saying in the video, I don't think Veterans Day should be every day. I don't think it should just be Veterans Day, the holiday. I think we should support them every single day. So I'm a huge advocate for that. I know what people have sacrificed. I know what they've said, and I know what the military has done for my family and how they've kept them safe. So yeah, I'm grateful to them every single day.
That is fantastic, and I love what are you doing to make that very differentiating and impactful on many levels. Because and I'm with you, because if we're doing and putting efforts to create an environment that we feel safe, and safety is important to every single one of us, anybody on the planet Earth actually who wouldn't want to feel safe and feeling protected, we also need to take a responsibility what that looks like. And it's a huge opportunity to improve on so many levels, right? And hopefully more and more we talk about, and more we also understand how it's challenging, because so many families are broken. broken. So many families lost their loved ones. So many families are never figuring out the best ways how to post deployments integrate in a healthy way. It's just so many dynamics there. And again, if we're not talking about, we're seeing, I'm being involved with military myself on many levels and with chapters here in Colorado, and just to listening how it's hard for them to integrate in the civilian life, how it's hard to integrate in corporate world, how it's hard to also transfer some of these skills and be accepted. We're seeing challenges similarly with other groups. And if we're not learning, right, asking questions, seeing connection, things that bring us together, we will never really be able to overcome these big, huge, hefty, not only goals, but also challenges and obstacles.
Yeah, and it's crucial. And that's why I got dressed this morning. I put this shirt on in support of Army. We can do our part. We can do your part. And it's a choice. And this is what people are missing on this platform. It is a choice whether or not to be a selfish or selfless person. It's a choice. I mean, trust me, I see selfish behavior all day long. I'm not even going to lie about it. But then I see the most selfless people on this platform. And those are the ones I jump on and I'm like, connect with him, connect with her. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. If you're not doing your part in this pandemic, shame on you. That's the reality of it. Just shame on you. If you're not doing that to help other human beings, there's a lot of us on this platform who are, that are trying, that we came together and said we're going to help people get through this pandemic. And you have that choice every day. What are you going to do with it? It's shocking to me because I see so many people who don't provide any value to their network at all whatsoever. And then I see people like you who provide a lot of value to your network. And that's the other mistake people do.
And I love what you said. It's that all of us can do, and whatever that is, and even just with tools and techniques and knowledge and what we're just doing, finding the time. Yes, it's conscious decision. All of us have 24 hours. How do we spend it? But knowing that we creating the ripple effects. And an interesting thing is where I just wanted to acknowledge some amazing audience here that is joining us. Abdul is here with us. Thank you so much, Dr.
Michael.
Great to see you. Liga is joining us as well.
Hi, how are you?
Beautiful smiling face, and we're having others here that are also sharing that.
Yes. Thank you so much. We are definitely responsible for our actions. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, Izabela. How many people are okay? People ask me, how do you become successful on LinkedIn? How do you do it? It's a very common question. They'll say, if I put 10 minutes into LinkedIn a day, will I be successful? And I tell them, what you put into LinkedIn is what you're going to get out of it. And I remind them that when I do my tips for success video.
Mm-hmm.
It's about everybody. It's about everybody. I have friendships that are set in concrete that I've made years ago. And that's another part of it people are missing, right? You and I have a friendship. We were laughing hard yesterday. Like, we build that friendship. Take that time right now. And I promise you, a year down the road, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I took that time. When we got locked in last March, I explained that to my network. Like, you're locked in. You're home right now. This is a great time for you to build those friendships because you're not alone. I remind my network that at least once a week, that no, you're not alone. And there are people out here right now that need to hear the message that they're not alone and that we are here for them.
And that is so powerful. And I'm glad you're sharing that, Rachel, because in moments like this, it really matters who we are with, right? And how do we show up for those in the greater needs? And more than anything, it's not about popularity and being liked and having followers, but if you are influencing people as a leader with very valuable information, consistency is the key, quality is the key, and showing up is the key, right? Because people want to be involved and engaged. And when we give them that opportunity, it's a fantastic way to demonstrate what that looks like on a daily basis, right? And more organizations, and this is something I wanted to also highlight, companies where I'm seeing also, doesn't matter how large or small they are, when I see some of their talent doing blogging, video, posting stuff, creating content, support your peers, support your colleagues, support your leaders. Just because you're not doing, you don't understand how vulnerable that is, how much of effort it takes to create the content. And now when they're doing, don't be the ones to rain on their parade and look what's missing or what should they do better, unless you are doing yourself that and you already know and have some really good concrete feedback to provide. But just to be on sidelines and tear other people down and also not be a good human, it just then don't even show up, because in a way you're really ruining and you're killing other people's self-esteem, the confidence. And when we talk about, because we're seeing also not only just bullying, the full-fledged bullying, but we're seeing a lot of people projecting their own issues on others by being very, very toxic and not supportive. And everything starts with support. Everything starts, what can I do to make others be better, do better, and achieve their goals?
And you said something really, really important. Okay, so I personally feel that content creators are frontline workers. Many of us have been here from day one, the first lockdown, last like February and then March, to pull our networks through, the pandemic. So yes, I think it is crucial to support your content creators. I tell my network all the time, I'm like, this is how it works. I'm going to keep banging those doors. I'm going to create more opportunities for you. So I explain it. The support needs to go both ways, right? It has to go. There's a very small percentage of people who actually create content compared to the millions and millions of people that are on LinkedIn. So yeah, support your content creators, because guess what? That one connection or that one person that we introduce you to could change your life forever. So yeah, I stand behind every single content creator on this platform, and I give you a standing ovation for showing up every single day.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your support. But thank you for leading the way and showing how is that done. Because this is why it's so important. Right now, people that may have a different skill sets than you, might have a different level of confidence, might have a different level of experience. If they're also reaching to you, respond. At least people looking for a job desperately, they're looking to protect their families, to create a safety. If they're not necessarily networking in the best way, that doesn't mean they should be ignored. Opportunities to at least respond or give them suggestion or do something, even if you're doing for 10-15 minutes. If you're so busy that you're doing other stuff, at least say, this is my way of doing servant leadership, this is my way of helping others. So many people do things very, very publicly, but they also do insane amount of work very, very privately. And both Rachel and I are one of those people. Everything that you see that's happening publicly, that is just a fragment of what is happening behind the scene.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I want to acknowledge that. And because that doesn't stop there, but also opportunities where we can help someone to create that bridge, where we can help that healing of getting better, self-esteem, whatever issues might be, but also creating new life. A lot of times people are right now in the limbo. They're like, Izabela, I'm not sure which direction I should go, or I'm not sure. And this is also service, guys. That doesn't mean we're charging people to help them to do that. We're helping them because we chose to help them, because we know what it means to be in situations of where nobody else is there to give you a helping hand. We know what it means to be by yourself and dealing with certain things on your own and being on that island. Don't we, Rachel?
Yeah, and that's the idea. We bring the boat to the island, we get them off the island and say, "You're not alone. Here you go. Here you go. Isabella and I are here. We're gonna help me out." That's what it is. Taking the people. It's a great analogy, actually. Now, saying that, if people want to stay on the boat, it all comes down to how they treat other human beings on this platform, and that is everything. That is just everything. Just because we're not out there posting doesn't mean we don't see people's comments or how they're treating people. Or I've explained it many times. When I come to your post, I was telling you this yesterday, we were talking privately. If I see people who are being super kind to you and they're being loving, and so I go through your entire post and I go follow, 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 follow all those people on your post. That's what I do. I'd look for those kind souls. Now, if somebody says something negative, um, on one of my friends posts, I do the opposite, right? It is the I do the absolute opposite, and it's goodbye. And I've blocked the person before I even met them. Why? Because they just tore up one of my friends. So I've explained to people that content creators are like this. It is a deep, deep bond that is unbreakable. I know, especially with like my friends and the way you and I are. So if you damage one, right? You hurt one person's feelings. It's that domino effect. That's what happens. That's what happens.
And it's a great opportunity to truly why we wanted to feed negativity, right? Because we have so much that is already happening, and we wanted to focus not only just on positivity for sake of positivity, but also show and see what's possible, right? Continue to grow, and lead, and lead with that curiosity and an excitement. And also, it's just beautiful because I personally truly don't have trolls. I don't have the negative things happening, and I'm very grateful for it. And what I wanted just to say, just energetically, I feel like with people from all over the world, I had just always really very good positive experiences. But I also know that certain things happen with the more visibility. More visible you are, like you're, Rachel, more bigger reach you have, more followers you do, also comes a level of responsibility, how you show up, and then also how you mitigate some of these situations. So this is really something for everybody to transpire, that what transpires in when you have in the sheer volume, right? And when you have more and more of that visibility, what do you do to create positive influence and continue to create a positive impact? And comes a huge sense of responsibility. So it's equal to CEOs who are actually leading large corporations, equals to their brand, equals to their social media presence, equals to their press releases and engagement, equals to what their employees and specifically top echelon is sharing or not sharing, and why they're not sharing, why they're not there to support their people or future employees or attract people to them. It impacts culture, right? What do you create in Rachel, even though as a solo entrepreneur, you're creating your internal culture. And as a result, who wants to work with you? It's the same applicable thing. Only thing is now that's level setting and giving equal footing. Doesn't matter if it's a solo entrepreneur with million followers or is a Fortune 500 with huge budget for marketing. We're seeing interesting phenomena happening right now, don't we?
Yeah, and I absolutely appreciate the fact, and thank you for saying that social media is a responsibility. People are missing that. I remind people it is a huge responsibility, and you better not take it lightly. And that is what people are missing. There are people. That's why I'm so deeply conscious of everything I say, everything I write, because I just want to empower people. I just truly want to lift them up. I want to have these opportunities, present these opportunities for them. It is a massive responsibility, and I appreciate what you said, because a lot of things go on behind the scenes that people are unaware of, because I don't share what's going on in people's life unless they want to share it. So yeah, it is responsibility, and take it that way. It's not all fun and games if you're treating it that way,
Mm.
and you're not helping the people right now who are reaching out. Shame on you. So I have to say, shame on you. It's our job as a freaking human being right now to do the right thing.
Yes. Yes, and as anything, where that responsibility derives a lot, there could be phenomenal experiences, memorable experiences, experiences where people gravitate and want to continue to engage when they're also genuinely sharing because they feel like they're part of the great tribe, great culture, great environment. So that is the same thing that I'm working from organizational effectiveness and organizational development, where we also see internally this is the great culture because I feel like I have a great tribe and great environment to be part of. And that is a phenomenal way also to look at, because right now we're seeing also interesting phenomena, don't we? People are jumping the ship because they will not tolerate anymore what used to be portrayed as not only harassment or abuse or sexist or whatever, a wide range of these different issues, but where culture fails. And when culture fails, what happens? Because leaders fail to really recognize what is happening in organization. So again, we're using these opportunities to address the topics around healing of visible wounds with stuff, with issues. There's so many are suffering, having a lot of issues that are going on emotionally, that are going on with them internally on personal and professional level. And whatever we can do to elevate that and change, to provide support during the holidays, one of the hardest times in the year. And then what are we doing to reach out and show that we're back to that, what matters the most, right? That human touch, human conversations, honesty, being real, being raw, but in the same time being servant, being there for others. So Rachel, with that in mind, what are some of your thoughts around how can we this holiday season give a cheer for others? What are
Show
what will be some of your suggestions?
And then you're gonna be staring a series of stuff that I filmed for the holidays. I read there's more people coming on to talk about it. Show up because this time is very hard for people. Some people, we know the holidays are a big trigger for people. Show up, be there, be present. Make space for the people who need it right
Yeah.
now. And I'm aware of people who they need that extra like TLC and love, during the holidays. I know who they are. I want to add something because it's important, Izabela. I see it, and I know there's one day a year where I'm on for 1 hour, and that's it. There's 2 days a year I do that. People exclude people by the post they write, and I try to warn my network about that. I try to say, is your post inclusive to everybody, or are you leaving people out? I see people do it every day. I'll scroll by them and I'm like, I have nothing to say on there because either the subject is not doesn't include everybody, and there's a lot of people who do that. So you need to ask yourself, are your posts out there for everybody? I can give you an example of that. Mother's Day, right? I'm on for 1 hour, right? And I use my voice that day. I do a video like the Friday before for the infertility community, the miscarriage community. It is crucial for people not to exclude. And I do this every year, and I do it, Father's Day and Mother's Day. It's for that whole other community, right? The infertility, just everybody. The families who are going through it, the families who have lost children, and everybody's jumping up with their Happy Mother's Day. Well, guess what? How many people did you just exclude? How many people did you just? So I use my voice on those holidays to make sure all those people are included. And yes, I'm a mom. I celebrate. I celebrate my aunt. I celebrate the special moms on this platform. But it's important, and people do that. So for some people, we think the holidays are a trigger, right? There's a lot of people it is. So that's something that people need to be aware of. And if you are a leader and you are an influencer on this platform, and my friends know it, we don't do it, write a post that includes everybody. Because right there, to me, when you're doing that, it's not the right thing.
Yes. Such a great point, guys. And again, find your passion, whatever you're passionate about, share with others. You never know who you can help. I love Liga's post here. And
Thank
Liga, thank you so much for such a great support. And obviously what she's talking about, yes, we're creating generational legacies here because we're creating domino effect and positive impact. We need to offset with everything that is going on. We also need to show back to humanity what matters, right? Being that human that is sensitive, that is understanding, that is supportive, that is caring, and frankly compassionate and kind, yes, but not only when it's convenient and when it doesn't affect you, but when it's mostly when it affects you as well, and still to really take away the conflicts and issues and problems, because we see so much of that, right? But I also wanted to share, Wiliga, we learned so much from you too. Your post, you've been doing so many things beautifully, and you've been cheerleaders and supporters of others. And I want to highlight your kindness and willingness to go an extra mile, but also beautiful posts you do that are around the mental health that are tremendously helping others. And this is what happened, guys, when you show up, what is possible. And I just want to thank you, every single one of you that are being here with us live, that are commenting, that are engaging, that are showing up, choosing to support us, but also support everybody else watching and listening, because it is the collective, right? And this is that ripple effect we're talking about, because we need to create more of that ripple effect.
We absolutely do. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to say, kind human, be a kind, respectful, empathetic human being. And I've told this to people that are genuinely kind, respectful human beings, what's going to happen to them and to the level of success that they're going to get to is going to be huge. It is absolutely going to be huge.
And I love that, because on the end of the day, in order to heal invisible wounds, we need to know that we're not alone. That is always someone there, that experienced similar things and overcame, and that we can learn from. That is okay to feel what you feel, but is not okay to feel that nobody want to listen and hear you out. It's a great opportunity to find those people and surround yourself with positivity, with people with similar experiences, and people that genuinely care. From there, you're gonna start creating bigger, better network, more very good quality colleagues, good quality friends, and as a result, a quality community. Then it's where it's going to be leading to the next thing, which is creating a healthy, good environment, right? When employers or employees you want to be associated with, where you really fit in naturally, where you can just be accepted as who you are. Right now, I'm seeing very interested in patterns where people truly just want to be accepted as who they are, when they're not hearing enough what they are good at it, when they're not getting enough of positive feedback, that they're doing phenomenal job in certain areas. Some of us are dyslexic, some of us are not as detail focused, some of us are way OCD and very detail focused, but they were maybe not lacking some other skills. But when we combine that, while we're seeking and aiming at perfection, while we're stressing out, while we're burning because we're trying or being forced to be perfect, when in reality we're good enough already. We don't have to be perfect. We just need to show up and keep continue learning and adjusting and finding the support. Every single individual has something that they can work on, right?
Yes.
Every single one. It's okay. Are we having a cat and dog joining us?
So, yes, and there's something else that you and I talked about. We should address. I just didn't want to forget. We talked about it yesterday.
Yes.
Women, get out there and support other women. Isabela's success doesn't take away from my success, and vice versa. Women, get out there. Together, we are going to rise all together. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I see done on this platform. That is it, Izabela, right? This is why when women are like, well, why am I not successful? Well, you were unkind to this person, or you said a rude comment. No. Women together, we're going to rise. We're going to go to a whole other level. And we're going to do it together. So please get out there, women. Support other women and feel that energy, feel that feminine power, and just jump on it and do it and help your girlfriend succeed. There is no space for jealousy, hate, envy, none of it. So get out there and support other women. Sorry, I'm passionate about that.
No, I love that you're bringing that point as well, because we need more of that, and truly, genuinely, not just for the sake of it. A lot of people are doing that just to appear that way. We know the difference when it's real, when it's genuine. We know the difference when we also have a good positive intention. So don't promise something you can't keep. Don't try to play the game just from the personal gain. That doesn't fly, doesn't work with corporations. Obviously, talent, we have the biggest exodus right now of the talent and changing the jerseys, as I call it, because they're ready to change the teams and give allegiance to different brand because of the culture. Again, be part of the positive culture and do the best you can, right? So with all of that in mind, thank you. We've seen here inspired and being helped to be believe in yourself. Yes, Liga, I think that is absolutely most crucial, most important. This is unfiltered, uncensored. We're showing up on live where it's recorded, where millions and millions of people can see it. It's a part of the whole bigger now ether and comes because it's a content that is out there, but it's also level of vulnerability. With vulnerability always comes most amazing, precious, epic moments for ourselves, right? And then for everybody else. So what you can do is practice as much as you can, be authentic as you can, and just keep going. And think about with others people's in mind. What is the ripple effect that I want to create? What is intention by this live? Why we're doing this? It's not because we want to appear popular, not because we want to just talk for sake of talking. We wanted to show up and really say today, consciously, every Wednesday at this time, we're showing up for the remainder of the year, very specifically around the topics that everybody is deep down fighting. Some people are having support, some not. How to overcome challenges and difficult on things that are making us struggle, making us not feel good about ourselves, making us possibly depressed, making sometimes, in some cases, some of us suicidal. I hear so many very painful stories. Fortunately, I had a loss this year on numerous occasions, a loss of last year. I lost someone that I didn't know that's going to be the last interaction I'm going to have with them. Someone that I used to know very well. They reach out, wish me happy birthday. I send a nice video to thank them. I did not extend my reach, even though they wanted to more conversation. And he committed suicide. Young, amazing human being that had a lot of potential. Last Wednesday, we had an actor sharing his story, how depressed he was and how it was important that he had such a good network and that they recognized the symptoms more than actually he did even recognize himself. Where I'm sure through COVID had a tremendous loss of people, but imagine also losing people in your sphere of influence without really recognizing or knowing what's going on with them, or having a chance to open this opportunity so they can reach out and at least know A, they're not alone, B, it's always going to be another day possibility for better solution, and C, guess what, tomorrow might be actually much better. I know today it's very gloom, but tomorrow it's a new day, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why we use our voices to end the stigma in mental health. It's exactly why. I'm not ashamed that I have PTSD. No one should go through what I went through to get it. So yeah, well, there's still that stigma, but we're working very hard. A core bunch of us are working very hard to say, hey, this is what I have. I'm not ashamed of it. And it's going to take us to keep doing that and having these conversations about mental health. And I'm so sorry for your loss because, like you, I know two people who committed suicide this year too. I just don't share their story because it's private. So it is important right now for us to get out there and support the mental health community. I can't begin to explain to you how important it is.
And we also wanted to urge the companies to really start not taking this lightly, because we see the glimpse of post-pandemic world that still it's so important to have a wellness, well-being, and mental health support, not only days, but environment. That they actually are eliminating things that are creating trigger stressors and more pain, that are creating much more healthy team dynamics, working environment, even if this continues to be virtual, which is harder again to reach, to connect, and offer support, but to continue doing this, because statistics are staggering. I don't want to go into that and bring them more gloom and gray and depressed people. That's not about that. But the fact is, the statistics are actually getting worse instead of getting better. We obviously not doing enough. We have to do more, and it's
Can
too late. And we're seeing two major issues right now. And Rachel, you know that I'm very passionate not only about existing leaders, but also future leaders and youth. In United States, we're seeing two devastating factors right now. We're seeing the factor obsolescence, as I call it, where we're having too young people that are not feeling supported. They're not having opportunity to go to school yet, post-pandemic or pandemic environments, and they're going through so much, and only way for them is to exit. When young human being is committing suicide, we failed not only on the family unit, but we also fail on educational unit. We fail as a society. We fail as a community. And then now we're seeing another spectrum there, where we're seeing mature men, leaders in their 50s and 60s committing suicide because they cannot handle the level of pressure or level of what is expected from them and magnitude of change in personal professional life, from illnesses to divorces, financial crisis, losses, and so many other factors. How then we can then as society say that that is normal and that is okay, and we should just keep going and ignoring the symptoms? We have to change those, right?
We
And
absolutely have to change it. I had a I interviewed psychologists, and one of them came on the show and he said that mental health issues are up 800% in this country. 800% in this country, mental health issues are up. And that's the reality of it. So it is due to the stress, due everything. The job loss, people worried about losing their homes, people worried about getting fired, people whose family members have lost their jobs, the sickness, the grief, friends who text them in the hospital with COVID, or I'm out of the hospital, my family members in the hospital with COVID. And so yeah, it's up. So it's our job to keep educating people. It's mental health is not a trend, and it's something that you and I address quite often. It's not a trend at all, and that's the reality of it.
I love that you, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I love that you said it's not the trend. It's a symptom, and it's condition, and it's reality. And I remember, I want to share something very interestingly. Years ago, I was in consultative efforts with actually one of the hospitals, one of the major chains across the US. And I remember how shocking for me was that they did not figure it out internally as a not only hospital in the hospital setting, but also into supporting as a company. When they were looking for their employee statistical analysis at that time, way before COVID, they realized what is costing the most for them, for their employees, to have the issues in such a surcharges in healthcare. They did assessment, we did analysis, and we clearly understood three things occurred. Employees were going to ER way too often. Why? Why that is being such a huge cost for the company? That is also a huge major healthcare provider and chain with the tons of hospitals and appearing to be phenomenal support, because they did not institute in their own environment, not only in hospital setting for their employees, but also in corporate side, in supporting roles, to have people that have the mental health issues to safely consume medication. People will relapse because they will not feel good to bring medication at work, or if they do, how to take it because of fear that somebody will see them if they do it by their desk, or if they go into the bathroom, or whatever it is. And as a result, they will relapse. So even though if they are taking medication, but they're not taking on regular basis, or not having safety environment, or being perceived in different ways that something is wrong with them, that just spiral. As a result, not only they had a huge ER visitations because they will relapse and be in a horrible shape, they were also obviously losing the work. They were not able to, and they will have these major absences, right? Even if it's a day or two, whatever it is like, why do we have also a pattern where people not consistently showing up to work? And that was a decade ago. And look at where we're at today. If healthcare institutions are working and struggling still with that, what can we then say for other companies and other industries, right? And the reason I'm just saying, I just want to boldly plead with all of you that have the impact and influence, that is watching and listening, that absolutely care. What are you doing to impose these questions and continue to talk about and to find the right solution, so that your talent is feeling not only heard, but supported, and figure out solution that's going to protect everyone and create the safety net so that people can show up and do their best why they're in the first place there. Because all of these obstacles are not going to go away. Sadly, that was the elephants that, based on my example that I just shared, continue to perpetuate and continue just getting bigger and bigger. And we need to obviously consciously make a decision. What role are we playing? And as Liga pointed out, what legacy are you creating for yourself? Because whether you do or not, you're creating the legacy. You failed, and history will show how many employers failed, how many still continuously consciously to choose profits over their people, how many of them neglected to understand that their people are our biggest asset. When they are working, everything else is working. Any final thoughts before we close this session for today, Rachel?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Listen, people talk, right? I know how my friends are getting treated by their employers right now. Some of it is downright sad and pathetic, to be honest with you. But there's such a fear of like losing their job, and they have bills to pay. And we all get that. We understand that. But you will be remembered as an employer right now, how you're treating your employees. So that's something that they should be aware of, because we all talk, we share stories, we go out to dinner with our friends, and they'll say, whoa, they implemented this, or they're doing this. So remember that, companies, how do you want to be remembered right now in the middle of this pandemic? Because we all talk and we know how you're treating our friends right now.
And also what your legacy is going to be like, right? We've seen huge shift even with Fortune 500. Who is up, who is down, who is losing the footing. And frankly, we have so much competition and choices for same brand, for same type of services. What do we choose to consume, right? Where we chose to buy, who we chose to associate, where we chose to work, where we chose to be next, either through the contract or the next employer. All of those are conscious decisions based on all of these factors. So, Rachel, absolute pleasure to have you with me today. I cannot wait for our future lives together on a wide range of topics. Thank you for finding time, for making the time.
Thank you, sweetheart, for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And it was absolute pleasure. Everyone that were today with us, commenting, engaging, we want to just
thank you.
from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. It's wonderful to be associated with all of you, and we're looking forward to phenomenal holidays for all of you and support that we can provide.
And you're not alone. We're here.
You're not alone. Absolutely, Rachel. Cheers, everyone.